Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Festival of Winds Honor Band Concert. My name is Gretchen Renshaw James, and I'm the Director of Bands here at Hendrix College, where I have the privilege of conducting the group you see in front of you, the Hendrix College Wind Ensemble. I want to thank you so much for being here with us tonight, and we are looking forward to sharing with our first piece with you, Sweet Like That, by the composer Christopher Theofanidis. Before we begin, just a quick note. Directors, if you would be willing to grab your phones and check them for me. I sent a couple of you a text message regarding some buses. If you would just take a look at the message that I sent you, don't worry, everything's okay. But it'll be really helpful to get something to happen. So without any further ado, we hope you enjoy Sweet Like That by Christopher Theofanidis. Thanks very much. We hope you enjoyed that first piece, a jazz pop-inspired piece written by composer Christopher Theofanidis, who is actually more well known as an opera and orchestra composer, but had the opportunity through something called the Band Quest series to write this piece of music for band, and we're really thankful for that contribution to the repertoire. So before we go any further, one of the things I want to make sure I do is to thank all of the folks who have put in so much time and effort to make a festival like this happen. This just doesn't happen overnight and without the tremendous effort of a lot of folks. So the first people I want to introduce you to are the festival co-chairs. And these people have been working with me since January to get everything ready for today, to welcome the 85 high school students here for the Festival of Winds Honor Band. Now, one of them happened to be graduating with a master's degree in euphonium performance from UCA today, which is why he's not here. He's celebrating that momentous occasion. His name is Stephen Flores, so we'll just give a shout out to him, through the airwaves, so to speak. But we can thank our other co-chair in person, so I'm going to get her to stand from the trombone section of our band, and that's Christina Hayes. Christina, can you stand? Next, I want to thank a group of volunteers from the Hendricks College Wind Ensemble who have made today possible. And these volunteers include Michaela Millard, Brendan Midkiff, Kennedy Valley, Kristen North, John Dale Nichols, and out there in the lobby is Beth Shepard. If you folks would stand and let us recognize you folks for helping. Go ahead, And finally, I won't make them all stand because they just did this a moment ago, but I want to make sure I share my thanks to the Wind Ensemble because you may or may not realize that we are in the middle of our finals week right now at Hendricks, and these folks are taking very precious time out of their study schedules, their final project preparing schedules to be here. So I'd like to thank, and will you help me thank, the Hendricks College Wind Ensemble for being part of this concert tonight. Now, as they say, our next piece of music will be something completely different. This next piece is by John Mackey, and it's a beautiful, serene piece of music called Sheltering Sky. You're going to hear in this a couple of melodies that sound like folk songs, but they're not actually folk songs. They're Mackey's own tunes, and he weaves these tunes together to create this very kind of warm and fuzzy, nostalgic moment. And not only is this piece awesome, but it's even more awesome because we're going to have our Festival of Winds guest conductor here to conduct it with us. Dr. Philip Obado comes to us from Allen High School in Texas, which is one of the largest music programs in the country. They have a total of 800 people in the marching band. That's a lot of people. It's tricky to move that around the field, but you can talk to him about how that works after the concert. Before coming to Allen High School, Dr. Obado was the assistant director of bands at Baylor University, where he conducted concert bands and assisted with the marching band. He is a great friend of mine. He's a terrific musician with a ton of experience, both at the collegiate and high school levels. So I was really thrilled that he was able to be with us here today. So if you could, please help me welcome Dr. Philip Obado to the stage. hope you enjoyed that Mackey. It's such a beautiful piece of music. But now, again, for something completely different, we're going to close the first half with a programmatic piece of music by a composer named Reineke. The best way for me to set this up for you is just to share with you the program note so you have an idea of the story that Reineke had in mind with this piece. So, Pilatus, Mountain of Dragons by Reineke is a programmatic tone poem for band. It opens as Mount Pilatus slumbers at night, shrouded in darkness and mystery among the clouds high above Lucerne, Switzerland. As dawn breaks, a band of courageous adventurers climbs Pilatus in search of dragons to slay. After an arduous journey filled with breathtaking views and terrestrial beauty, the adventurers finally stumble across a dragon lair. They awaken the mighty dragon who must now battle the intruders of his domain. All but one adventurer are mortally wounded, leaving the pitiful human to beg for mercy and forgiveness from the dragon. Demonstrating great compassion, the dragon produces a magical stone called Draconite from his own wounds in order to heal and save the intruders. In doing so, the dragon has placed compassion and tolerance in the hearts and minds of man, leading them to be happy and have a peaceful coexistence with the dragons of Pilatus. So you can tell by that story, I imagine, that it's quite a dramatic piece, and it's really a ton of fun to play, and it's a really, really neat piece. So we hope you will enjoy Pilatus Mountain of Dragons, after which we'll take a brief intermission to reset the stage and get ready for the Festival of Winds Honor Band on the second half.
I normally don't talk before concerts, but it's been a great day. We started super early. We've been working all day, working really hard. These folks have been working really hard, and we'd like to open our program with a piece called Up in the Clouds by Richard Saucedo. This is a big band on stage. When I went out, I was in backstage for the last concert, and I was like, oh, I can't get backstage, so I guess we're starting now. So I did say, Up in the Clouds. It was sort of an awkward beginning. I was like, let's start. So the first tune, Up in the Clouds, was composed by the director of bands at Carmel High School in the Indianapolis area and in Indiana, and his name is Richard Saucedo. And when he was writing the piece, he was getting a pilot's license, so he was really inspired to write an opener, I guess, because he was getting his pilot's license. And in his program notes, he talks about he just kept thinking that he was in the clouds this entire time, so he just called it In the Clouds, which is a really appropriate title. And they did a great job. It was really exciting. And we're going to move on to something completely different. And it's sort of, it's written on your program as the third piece. We're going to do our second piece called Rippling Watercolors by a composer named Brian Balmages. And he's from Florida. I'm from Florida. I've never met him, but the piece was inspired by his family and his kids when they play with watercolors and the interesting pictures that they make, either sunsets, beautiful sunsets, or beautiful dusk skies. And I think it's appropriately titled Rippling Watercolors. And Rippling Watercolors is going to be conducted by my friend, the director of bands here, Dr. Gretchen Renshaw. This is Brian Balmages, Rippling Watercolors. one of the great things about doing honor bands or participating in his honor band is I don't think every day you sit in an ensemble of 85 people, which is really cool. And I know Dr. Renshaw mentioned that I'm at the big high school in Texas that has 800 people, and I know that's big, but we don't have bands as big as this. And what a complete, amazing sound that is when you hear that many French horn players play and that many tuba players play and that many clarinet players play. So what an awesome opportunity and experience these folks have. Another thing is that we actually play some music that they might not normally play in their own band rooms. The next piece we're going to play is a piece entitled Autobahn by Ryan George. Ryan George is a Texas composer. He's from the Austin area, and he's written all sorts of music from college music to middle school music, and he's becoming one of our medium's most plentiful. His compositions, you're seeing a lot more of his compositions around there, especially in academia. Anyway, the piece Autobahn is based on the Autobahn in Germany, and we talked a little bit about the Autobahn and its origins for the military in Germany during the World Wars. But right now it's sort of a superhighway where you drive really, really fast, and what Ryan George tries to capture in this piece is that sort of tempo in terms of just cars whizzing by, and it starts off with the trombones going rare, rare, and you hear that from time to time, and we have some horns beeping, dee da da. You'll hear that. You'll hear a siren going by in the Doppler effect, ya da dee da dee da. So there's a lot of really fun special effects, and this is kind of an awesome opportunity in a big band with a lot of percussionists and a lot of French horns to play some cool music that has some really neat sound effects. So I hope you enjoy Ryan George's Autobahn. Well, here we are. It comes to our final piece for the evening, a piece called Red Rock Mountain. It's based on a set of mountain ranges in Pennsylvania. And it goes through different settings of grandeur. There's trumpet fanfares, there's French horn fanfares, there's just a lot of loud, expansive parts, and then there's soft, sensitive sections that reflect certain different areas of the scenery. It's been a pleasure being here, and I do appreciate the invite coming out here and meeting these fine young men and women. It always amazes me doing these things when we start at the very beginning, and we started today at 9 a.m. 9 a.m., yeah, 9 a.m. With our first notes and playing a concert in the evening. And the hard work these young men and women have given today is just a fine testament to what's going on in the schools and in the homes. And I do thank you, and they thank you for all the support that you've given. If you are I know there's some directors here, and I had the pleasure of meeting some of the directors. If you're a director of any of the students on stage, can you just stand and just be recognized? Is that cool? It's really hard sometimes to just try to talk about music, make music, rehearse the music, and talk about some life stuff. But we talked about some important life skills, like don't correct people when they say Mozart incorrectly. I don't know why. I just said, I always hate being corrected pronunciation. And one of these life skills that I found valuable was don't correct people because people get offended. But other things, more important things that we talked about a lot of music making. We talked a little bit about why we do what we do. And it's really silly. I even talked about, marching band. Why do we wear that feather? Isn't that kind of silly? We wear a feather. It's supposed to make you look taller, but that makes you look better, right? It's a feather, and we do silly things like that. And when we go to concert band festival, we put on like tuxedos and black dresses, and we get on and we rehearse the same 3 pieces of music for such a long time for an audience of 3. Why do we do what we do? And I think some people just had some prom and they've got AP testing, but what do we do? We're going to spend all day on a Saturday making music when we've got this and that and this. And this is why we do what we do. We do this activity called band because we love the people that we're around. It's really about people. And it's really about being goal-driven and just spending time making music and doing things that's important to us with the people that we care about. So that's how what I believe, why we do what we do, why we wear that feather, why we dress up for 3 people, and why we pay money for lessons to play for 3 people and wear a feather. It's not because of that. It's because we do it for us. We do it because it makes us feel special. It makes us feel important, and we do these things for the people around us. So thanks for being here, and we're going to close the concert with Red Rock Mountain by Galante. Hope you enjoy it.
Thank you.